Hello and welcome to another Game Analyzer, where we do what others don't and present you with top 10 lists. Here we go! Now here at Game Analyzer, we don't have a bunch of researchers pretending that you can rate the greatest Genesis games of all time. Obviously the greatest games of all time are going to be the games that you grow up with. Today I'm going to bring someone I played Genesis with on a daily basis. Hello Chris!
Hey.
Now when we were kids, our uncle blessed us with a Sega Genesis, and a box of more games than we could ever ask for.
As a result, we didn't really feel the need to buy any new games. Also, around our area, we would usually see more Super Nintendo games than Genesis.
But within this box contained many gems, future classics, and some interesting games.
So this is a list of the greatest Genesis games that we've ever played.
Number 10! Fatal Fury 2 on the Genesis was an excellent part of the Neo Geo game. The game itself was a huge improvement over Fatal Fury 1, and let everyone know that SNK could hang with Capcom.
In my eyes, on the Genesis, the game was actually more fluid than the Neo Geo version. This made the super moves easier to pull off. On the Genesis, the super moves and moves were also easier to pull off, making the timing more similar to Street Fighter 2 than the early SNK fighting games.
Number 9! Sword of Vermilion is an underrated action RPG game that was very creative and unique for its time. On the Genesis, it was obscured by the more popular RPG we know as Phantasy Star.
The battles were amazing in this game. Shooting magic and slashing were really satisfying, and fleeing from battles was also a thrill. The boss battles were like 2D fighting games with the same mechanics as the regular battles. I haven't really seen a game that switches between so many genres. However, the maps and the caves could get confusing because you can't really see where you're going. The game had a small story, but was still enough to keep me playing.
Number 8! Streets of Rage was Sega's answer to Final Fight. With 3 different characters to choose from, and the 2-player co-op, the game was instantly a beat-em-up classic, and some may argue that it is even better than its competitor.
Blaze was so hot. Strategically, she is a character to pick because she is the fastest, and you'll be less likely to get hit with her. Axel was also good in his own right. I never picked Adam. This was because I first played the game on the Game Gear, where Adam wasn't selectable. It's pretty difficult. If you play on co-op and your friend dies, the game still doubles the boss count, which can make it pretty difficult. The 2 different endings were also a nice touch.
Number 7! Sonic the Hedgehog. This was the classic game that everyone bought with their Genesis, and our uncle was no different. Sonic the Hedgehog won us over with how badass he was. His speed alone was enough to make the game stand out from every platformer and eventually led us to buy the sequels.
Sonic was a hard game. I haven't beat it to this day, but I prefer this Sonic over 2 and 3. The only chance you have of surviving is to qualify for the special stages and get Chaos Emeralds to get credits. The spin dash wasn't really there, but you can still do some sort of roll. But hey, people like Mega Man 2 the best, and he didn't really have a charge shot or a slide in that game.
Number 6!
Samurai Showdown. Now this is one of the few games that we went to our local video game store and picked up. This was the beginning of our journey to becoming
SNK fan. Get it right, you piece of shit! Samurai Showdown is unlike any other fighting game. Every attack and every move counts because of the damage that they take. A lot of the music demonstrates this atmosphere as well. The special attacks were extremely unique and arguably inspired many of the Guilty Gear special moves. From the referee and the violence, the game was certainly on a level of its own. Nakaruru was always my favorite character, and I have so many fond memories with her in the game. Number 5! Comix Zone, one of the later games for the Genesis. This was one of our favorite games that our uncle gave us, and for the longest time we couldn't even beat the first stage. It's unique in presentation and was criticized by being too hard by the pussies.
Well, call me a pussy because I thought it was hard. I still haven't beat it fairly. I had to cheat with a code. When I do play it fairly, I almost get to the end. Anyways, the music was really unique and it really showed what the Genesis could do. It makes rock and roll sound so cool. The fighting system was extremely flexible. You can block, roll, punch, kick, and throw paper airplanes. It was a lot like a fighting game.
Just the sound of the logo brings so much nostalgia to our heads. And while it's published by Sega, it was actually conceived by an American developer. Number 4!
Musha! perhaps one of the rarer gems of the Genesis, and it is insane that we've even experienced it within our childhood. On top of being rare, it is also extremely entertaining, and it is definitely one of the greatest overhead shooters of all time.
The music on every stage will make your blood pump. The weapons and power-up system was unique in the way which it kept building and building. You had these little ships that you can command, and using these was essential to your strategy. On top of lives, you also had these ships to look out for. I think it is the greatest shooter of all time. Number 3! Golden Axe 3. Most people talk about the original Golden Axe because of nostalgic reasons, and many people may not even realize that there was actually a third Golden Axe. Unlike the second Golden Axe, Golden Axe 3 increases the variables of the first game by 100%. It was only released in Japan, but later came out on home consoles, like the PS3 and the Wii's Virtual Console. For some stupid reason, people hated this game, and I have yet to find out why. No advancements from the first game, huh? I guess that's why you can block, strike down in an angle, and throw multiple enemies at once. I particularly like picking the Panther Man, due to the fact that he's fast and badass looking. The blocking mechanic literally changes everything about the gameplay. This forces you to think more strategically, rather than randomly striking and hoping for the best.
I really don't know why people hated this game. Maybe they thought it was too hard. So if you hate this game, please tell us why. It's way better than the first one.
Number 2! This was the game that really had us going as kids. Before this, we had no idea who the Battletoads were, but were huge fans of Double Dragon. In my eyes, this was probably one of the greatest crossovers to ever come out. Also, the gameplay was fresh and changed up quite a lot. Depending on who you picked, could also change the gameplay experience as well.
I beat it. I love how it changes from a beat-em-up to a 2D platformer and to a 2D shooting game. Beating the game is no easy task. This game introduced me to Battletoads and led me to buy many of the Battletoads games.
This game was also one of the first games to portray women in a positive light, allowing them to be part of the action, rather than sitting on the sidelines.
Number 1!
Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master. Personally, I've always preferred this series over Ninja Gaiden. The gameplay was solid, and every once in a while would change and continue to be fresh. The different techniques that you can do allowed for many different strategies for gameplay. Also, the boss battles were awesome. You can be a surf ninja, and ride a horse too. And on top of all of that, the music and sound effects will blow you away!
The way I play Shinobi is to conserve my ninja magics, turn off the shurikens, and work for your items. The dojo stage is a mindfuck. You can make wrong turns and it really makes you think. This changes the entire pace of the game.
That's right, Chris! Well, thanks for listening to another episode. What are some of the games that you grew up with? Please leave them in the comments below. Also, if you want more episodes, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more updates. You can also give us ideas on future episodes as well. And on a serious note, thank you everyone who watched and loved the Shenmue toy analysis. It is by far the most successful game analyzer that we've ever had. So as a reward, I'm going to make another Shenmue video next week. This is Game Analyzer, signing off.